We begin at home as the Minister of Communications, Innovation and the Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, has disclosed that the rollout of the 3.3 trillion naira, 90,000 kilometers of fiber lines, 7,000 telecom tower infrastructure nationwide will formally commence in Q4 of 2025. Besides that, he stated that the sector witnessed massive growth under President Bola Tinubu, attracting $191 million in foreign direct investment in Q1 2024, a ninefold increase from $22 million in Q1 of 2023. Tijani made his remarks during an interview for an upcoming State House documentary to mark President Bola Tinubu's second anniversary. Tijani highlighted the sector's robust workforce development driven by the 3 Million Technical Talent Program, the 3MTT, and revealed plans for a $2 billion initiative to deploy 90,000 kilometers of fiber optic infrastructure nationwide starting in Q4 2025. Well, now on to our next story on insecurity, which is a plea from the governor of Borno State as communities reel from continuous attacks from terrorists. Babagana Zulum is calling on the federal government to deploy strategies to ensure that Mate town does not fall to Bokoharam and ISWAP insurgents. Zulum visited the town over the weekend, coordinating security logistics and assessing the challenges to peace and security in the area. Before Zulum's arrival, Mate was completely deserted following a Boko Haram attack last week Friday, with thousands taking refuge in Dikwa town. Elsewhere in the state, at least 23 farmers and fishermen were killed in a remote village near Baga.
People have left Mate to Dikwa. This is very obnoxious to the government, to the federal government as well as the state government. Because this huge number of people is a threat on itself. But alhamdulillah, we came back home. And then yesterday we spent a night here, you have seen, with the support of the Nigerian army, with the support of our gallant civilian jet hunters and vigilante. We are back here in Marte, and then the communities are now resettled for the second time now. So far so good, you have seen we have strengthened the resilience of the community. We have increased the numbers of civilian jet hunters and vigilante in order to complement the efforts of the Nigerian army. The Nigerian army has also increased the workforce that are residing in this town, and we have taken many measures that need not to be explained here because it's a security matter.
Now, lastly, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals has reaffirmed that despite the fluctuations in global crude oil prices, it has consistently reduced the price of premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, and would continue to do so in the interest of Nigeria. The company made this known in a statement issued yesterday, which was signed by its Group Chief Branding and Communications Officer, Anthony Chijina. The Aliko Dangote-owned refinery said the decision to maintain price stability reflects its unwavering commitment to supporting the Nigerian economy and alleviating the burden on consumers from the increase in fuel prices by maintaining price stability. The decision, Dangote said, underscored its dedication to providing affordable, reliable and high-quality petroleum products without compromising operational efficiency and sustainability. The company assured all stakeholders, consumers, partners and the government of its continuous dedication to operational excellence and to national service. I think many people will also be hoping that as the price of oil continues to reduce, as much as it may be bad for our budget, we hope that the petrol price, the pump price, will also continue to reduce.
So that's why we need to give very strong kudos to Dangote. But I cannot say the same for NNPC this morning. Like they say in Nigerian parlance, Shebi is the same refinery NNPC claim they have that is working that Dangote has got. From time to time, you can see the valuation of their petrol and how they reduce prices. Why can't NNPC do the same? What happened to the Warri refinery? What happened to the efficiency of the Port Harcourt refinery? Is it working 100%? But these were things that billions were collected. At some point, a couple of names were mentioned. How is that investigation going? So you can see that Nigeria, sometimes we are not ready to break forth as a nation. With all the promises Mr. Kyari made then, what happened? The president promised. What happened to those refineries? With all the billions of dollars spent, what happened? But you can see a man that is running a real refinery model. Despite international differences in prices, he's consistently reduced prices. He's become the saving grace. And that's why, in hindsight, I don't even know why NNPC pool didn't complete their investment in Dangote refinery. The money that they used to put into this Warri refinery and the likes that we have now heard that it's just doing basically blending in some cases, should be plowed or should have been plowed into Dangote refinery. And then we know, at least we know they have a big stake there. They have a stake, although, but they could have increased their stake. So kudos to Dangote this morning. As regards Mate, you see, I'm very sad that the insecurity situation has worsened in this country. And the question is, where's the National Security Advisor and all of this? Punch was reporting the other day that I was holding a political meeting. Things are not working as regards security. Let's not deceive ourselves. Let's call it spade a spade. Things have worsened. When last did we hear about Bokoharam? But these days we're hearing about Bokoharam again. A governor is begging for them to save Mate. We are back to the bad days of insecurity. So what are we doing about it? The other day, our troops, our valiant, successful troops that I adore so much, were killed in and around Yobe. There's almost insecurity everywhere. Somebody sent me a distress message about Lilu community in Anambra State, of the massive insecurity going on there. And every part of this country is inundated with one problem or the other. So please, want to call on the National Security Advisor, want to call on the entire security apparatus in the country to do something about it. But the good story this morning is what the giant strike Bornu is making, which is 3MMT, which deals with training. Because training is key for the tech sector and the tech development, and also infrastructure is key. He said he's gotten some funding as regards, fiber optics, laying of cables, thousands of miles, about 7,000 telecommunications tower. We can't wait for all of that to come on stream, but want to see the knock-on effects. Because to a large extent, because of the devaluation of our currency, it's affected the telecoms company. And we've even seen that productivity has dropped a great deal. We have a lot more increased drop calls and the likes. So this one is good to be able to increase that density across the country and also give skills to people in the technology scene. So that's a good one. And I can't wait to see that documentary roll out about some of the things President Tinubu has done. Yes, he has done some things, achieved some things, but there are so many other things left undone. Poverty, insecurity, those things are still rearing their ugly heads. And when that time comes, we'll analyze it, we'll give him kudos, and we'll give him knocks where he deserves it.
Okay, very quickly, let me start with Bosun Tijani. Bosun Tijani, as Minister of Communications and Digital Innovation, is one of those ministers that we have always highlighted as someone who understands the subject and the field. And the point that he's making about the 90,000 kilometer fiber lines and costing 3.3 million and 7,000 telecom towers across the geopolitical zones of Nigeria, we speak to the fact that, look, fiber infrastructure is the latest information highway, super highway. And what it means is to enhance the telecom sector in terms of technology, in terms of latest developments, as they have done in India, as they have done in the United States, as is the case in Ghana next door. Now, it's something that should be encouraged. And already, he talks about the potential in terms of digital innovation. The minister says, look, the FDI that has come in 2024 under the watch of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is more than what Nigeria ever got, in 2023 and much earlier. So it's a very good area of investment and progress for economic growth. Because this is about data. If those fibers are in place, if those telecom towers are in place, the infrastructure, it means that everybody in whatever part of Nigeria will be able to get onto that superhighway. And I think that is an initiative that should be encouraged. However, where the problem lies, as I observed when I was in government, is about these state governments, these governors. you will be surprised to find out that many of these state governors are saying, well, to come and lay fiber cables in our state, you have to pay upfront because they want revenue. And yet this is an investment, even on the part of government and the contractors that have been engaged. Some state governors are not enlightened. There are some cases in court over this laying of fiber cables. I don't want to mention some of the states involved. But I think that the state governors should be more enlightened and to see that it's their people that will benefit when that infrastructure is in place. The contractors, the government, they want to invest. They have not recouped the investment. It will take years before they begin to recoup investment from this telecom infrastructure. So I think Minister Bosun Tijani's primary assignment will be to engage these governors and to ensure that they see, the importance of what is being done. Now, on Governor Zulum, I've written an extended essay today on the back page of this day newspaper in my column Tuesday with Ruben Abati, where I address specifically this issue. The piece is titled Zulum and the Surge in Insurgency. Now, on Saturday, Governor Zulum had to go and sleep in Mate, which is the only community that is standing out of the 300 towns and villages in Mate local government area. And he was appealing to the federal government, don't let Mate fall. And he went there, in a show of confidence, supported by the police and the military, to encourage the people who had fled. 20,000 of them had fled to Dikwa. And so what this tells us is that the government officials at the federal level who are saying that, insurgency has been solved. Bokoharam has been technically decimated, or is it beheaded, or is that the word they use? Defeated, or is it whatever it is? The truth is that terrorism, banditry, insurgency remains a major problem. Not just in Borno State, also in Yobe State, also in the Northwest, also in other parts of the country. And the primary responsibility of government is to secure the lives and property of the people. It doesn't matter whether that person is in Dukwa or Ngururu, Iroye, once you are in Nigeria, government has the responsibility to protect you. Section 14, sub 2. And this is a governor saying, okay, I'm doing my best. I need help. Let federal government come and help us. I think it's a call that the federal government should heed. Finally, the whole thing about this is that you recall in April, this same Governor Zulum had almost an altercation with the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris. But eventually, Mohammed Idris said, he was misquoted, it was fake news, and all of that. We need better collaboration between government and the states on this issue. The other issue I addressed in my column today is about forest guards, but that's not what you asked me to comment on. That's another dimension of it. Finally, Dangote Refinery. I think the statement issued by Anthony Chejina yesterday speaks to the patriotism of Alhaji Aliko Dangote and the Dangote Group, or specifically, the Dangote Refinery, which is the largest single-train refinery in the world. That Dangote Refinery is saying, look, we're the largest single refinery. Oil prices may be going down, but we're committed to ensuring price stability. Price stability does not mean the price will not go up and down. If spot price goes up, pump price will go up. But what the Dangote Group is saying is that they will ensure affordability as part of their own commitment to Nigeria first. The government also has to play its part. Dangote Refinery must get the crude that has been promised, as at when due, as has been promised. And that's where, those who supply the crude come into the picture. 2, the Naira for crude policy, which the federal government has reaffirmed, must be sustained. If Dangote gets crude in Naira and the other players in that space, Smith and the other oil-producing companies, oil refining companies, get crude for Naira. Then they will be able to sell to Nigerians at the rate of, Naira, not at the international spot price. So there are responsibilities on both sides. Dangote Group, refinery, has talked about patriotism. Government also should level up and make sure that they meet that refinery at the level of the agreements.
Absolutely. Good intentions need to be met with a conducive environment. And that's all Dangote has ever asked for. He's asked for an environment that will allow him to operate this $20 billion investment in a way that will not only benefit Nigeria, but also benefit the continent and the world at large. So this signaling from his team is positive. It's a step in the right direction. It's good to see a return to an amicable relationship between Dangote and the powers that be, especially after we saw how bad things got last year. Now, with the new leadership of NNPC, there's a lot of pressure. Our eyes are on them because as much as we want to see them ensure that not only Dangote refinery, but other refineries, modular refineries, private refineries in the sector are able to flourish, are given what they need to be able to function optimally, we also still look to them to ensure that there's accountability, that forensic audit on NNPC. Let's look back at how we got to where we are in a way to rebuild and move the NNPC forward. Also very important to be able to build the public trust that has been eroded over the years as we build this sector and also continue to promote value addition in this sector and in other sectors. Now to insecurity in Borno State. One thing I really do need to do is applaud Governor Zulum because he has been consistent. He is one of the governors who always ensures that whenever he hears there's insecurity anywhere in his state, he will make sure he heads there. He takes his team, his convoy, and he goes to the heart of the insecurity. So this wouldn't be the first time that he spends a night or he takes himself to, quote unquote, the battlefront, to the eye of the storm. He's done it several times. In fact, if you go on social media, you see several videos of him. There's a time where his security detail, was even engaging in gunfire and so forth. So I really do applaud his approach. And I hope that he is getting the necessary support that he needs to, because we know the antecedent is that at some point he was dismissed and his cries for help and his attempt to bring attention to the situation in his state was downplayed. But I'm glad that he's not deterred. He continues to ensure that he fills the boots of a chief security officer in his state. He is on the ground with his people, giving us situation reports. And this is what we expect from all governors of this state. Don't report to us about insecurity from Government House. We want you to go to all the nooks and crannies of your states and tell us what the real situation is on the ground. Now, last but not least is the telco sector. Now, Nigeria's internet and data consumption accounts for 29% of the whole continent's data consumption. This is how important Nigeria is to this sector. Now, before the tariff hike, Nigeria also had the cheapest data on the continent and some of the cheapest data in the world. Now, we're still amongst some of the on the lower end of that list. However, the question is, as we drive towards this $1 trillion economy, or the aspiration of it, and we try to boost investment in the sector, are we ensuring that the entire ecosystem is taken care of? Because as much as it is positive news to hear that 7,000 towers will be rolled out and many of them will be going into the rural areas, the target is for 90% internet penetration, but we're currently sitting at 45.5%. So how are we going to get there when we know that the biggest challenges with these towers is power? How are these telco towers going to be powered? Because we know that part of the tariff increase was because of increases in diesel spend to keep the towers going. Okay, fine, put that aside. Statistics show that 84% of the hardware that is used in the telco sector is imported. When can we get to a place where we start to manufacture our own telco's hardware?